In this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the two-way playmaking stretch 5 build. Now, this build is every center's nightmare, bro. Like, centers hate to guard someone that can shoot the ball. Now, it's easy sometimes to guard someone that can shoot the ball, but what about someone that can shoot the ball but also go inside and dunk the ball? Now, that is every center's worst nightmare. They hate guarding that stuff. They'd rather just sit in the paint or rather just sit on the three. They don't like to move around, but this build is gonna make them super angry. Trust me. You make this build, you're gonna get messages from guys just yeah, not the nicest stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, I'm gonna show you the attributes of this build currently. Y'all can see I'm only still a 90 overall. Okay, so shout out to 2K with the sort of rebirth system. This is a W. The fact that you can go straight into the wreck and still dominate. You always see the clips right now, but this is what my attributes are currently looking like right now, and these are what my animations are currently looking like. For some of you that like to ask about what my the dribble moves are and what your jump shot's gonna be. Now this build does have a bit of ball handling. Y'all can see you can get some of the quiet signature size up combos and everything else, and a bunch of normal stuff which I am using, and also my jump shot, which is another thing people love to ask. I am currently using, y'all can see, it's a Jonathan Isaac base with LaMarcus Aldridge and Jaren Jackson Jr., but y'all can see you do need an 83 rating in order to get this. So if you're a center with 83 rating, definitely try this stuff out. It is very smooth. You have that high arc and release, which I really like, and I think A- speed is pretty quick enough to be able to get your shot off. Okay, anyways, we are going to get into the gameplay, and I'm going to take you out to the builder. I'm going to show you how to make this build. Now, when it comes to shooting, this build has it all, man. Like I said, a lot of centers don't like to guard this stuff. Someone that can stay outside, go inside, shoot from the midi. Because a lot of people, when they make a stretch build, they kind of forget that the mid-range is also part of shooting. Y'all can see this build can also snag. You can also get offensive rebounds. And you also, I'm only still a 90 overall, so I'm not even got my stats maxed out yet. But you'll see, I got the rebound. And like I said, a lot of centers, they don't like to guard all these crazy stuff. When you do too much, they'd rather just give up, bro. Okay, now this build, y'all can see how you see me coming off a screen a lot. You'll see that little dex right there. You're able to deck centers, and centers will fall for that. When you start dexing, you pretend you're going to the paint. A lot of them will do it. Once again, you'll see I did a little dex right there, but it doesn't matter because now I can also go into the paint. Obviously, my layup isn't upgraded just yet, boys, but look, I got my rebound and I can go straight back up. But once my obviously layup is upgraded, those are going to be easy buckets for me. But once again, you can see off the pick, we got the ball right there. Like I said, this build can go inside, outside, mid-range, whatever you want to take. Difficult shots, step back threes. You also get bronze limitless range with this build, which is very effective, by the way. But look at this move. Oh my god, look at this little jab step. This is where the playmaking comes into play. Look, it was playing a really good defense, but better offense. You'll see that little step back midi. Oh my goodness. This is the reason why I love to have playmaking on some of my builds. Not because I'm a dribble head or dribble god. I just like those triple threat moves. They look way cleaner, way better with those moves. But like I said, you can go in, you can go out with this build. When guys want to play out thinking, they might think you're going to dex them again, I'm just going to go all the way to the paint. So it's very, very irritating to guard this. But you'll see that center try to help a little bit. You can't leave this build, but like I said, I do have that bronze limitless range, which does work. Again, I took the center into the post in a 1v1 situation. And like I said, listen, this build is a shooter, bruh. You are a shooter. So again, when it comes to shooting, it's not just a three. You need to be able to hit the midi. Difficult shots like this build can do everything. Okay, like, bro, when I was just shooting, my mindset with this build is I'm just gonna shoot. Okay, when I catch the ball anywhere along the 3-point line, I'm gonna test this limitless range and just see how far you can go. Obviously, you can't shoot super deep unless you have takeover, but listen, you need to have the hot hands on this build. You need to feel like Klay Thompson. You want the ball every single time. But once again, look, we're playing off that little pick and pop right there, but look, they're gonna start double teaming you after a while, because once you start popping, guys will start helping too much, and it makes easy playmaking for your teammates. But once again, like I said, look at the rebound on this build, and you also saw the stats. I'm gonna keep saying that it's not, the offensive board isn't even maxed out. So once it's maxed out, this build would also be able to snag like crazy. But once again, going off that pick, we're able to go in and out. You'll see sometimes they think I want to dex them and they don't really commit to the roll. I can still go into the paint and still dunk the ball. So it's kind of like pick your poison, what you want me to do. Again, look at that once more, just still snagging on this build. Once again, we're going to go into that little fade, listen, just moving around in this build, like I said, it's super annoying to guard, especially for centers who like to commit to the paint area. Once again, you're just seeing the rebounding part of this build. You can still snag like crazy. And like I said, bro, when you go into that midi, bro, you don't want guys to leave you in the mid range, bro. And now the other thing I do have on this build, I actually have post fade phenom on Hall of Fame, which I've never used in any of my build. And you always see, once again, look at that in and out I'm doing, bro. It's so irritating to God. The dex on this game is ridiculous. Watch another dex I'm gonna do to this guy right here. Now he's just trying to guess. I took him into the little midi right there. I faked him out. Watch this little move right there. He just got lost. Oh my God. But I don't know what, he didn't even know what I was gonna do. He didn't know what I was gonna do. You'll see how much space I got off that move. But once again, off the pick, okay, we're dexing off this guy. I saw this is a little guy. You already know, bro. You don't want your PGs to switch onto me. If I run a pick and pop and I see the point guard switch onto me, I'm going to take them right into the post and get an easy bucket. But once again, look, another guy, just easy money, bro. No reaction. The mid-range, if you guys ain't shooting the midi, I'm telling you boys, you all need to add that into your bag, because it makes the game so much more fun. Like, especially on a build like this where you can shoot deep threes. When guys want to guard you too close, you can go into the midi, you can go into the dunk. Look at the off-ball moving I'm doing on this, but I'm just constantly moving, constantly trying to dex. And once I catch that ball, I'm going to let it fly, literally. If you give me too much space off the catch, that ball is going in the back of the... Listen, bro. We're splashing all kinds of threes with this build. But once again, look at those little decks I did to him right here. Look, like, it's annoying. Like, I've seen players do this to me, and I get so irritated. But once you start doing it, it's actually super fun. When you can fake guys into the paint, you can deck back to the three. Because this build has such a high three-pointer, as soon as you catch it, bro, just let it go. There's no reason to hold on to the ball any longer. But like I said, wherever you catch the ball, whether you catch it in the midi, whether you catch it in the three, you're literally dangerous everywhere, bro. You're literally so dangerous on this build. Like I said, I'm not really like a dribble head. So the reason I put playmaking on my build is for situations like this, where I can kind of create my own space into going to the midi. I don't really do like all these glitchy dribble moves a lot of people do in the game, and that's why I can't be patched, because I exploit the game. I just use basic IQ, basic in and out movement. Y'all can see on this build it's very, very different, because my other builds that I have, I can't really dex confidently like this because my three isn't that high, so I don't want to be dexing and trying to be shooting off the dribble every single time. But the shooting on this build feels very, very nice, man. Like, I've been having, like, this build is super fun to use. But once again, look at the centers trying to guard me. Whenever I get the ball, they don't really know how to. When I'm doing all this shimmy stuff, like, I'm literally shimmying to the left, to the right. They don't know where I'm planning to hop to. We kind of created a little bit of confusion right there. The other guy tried to help him, but it don't matter. I've got that Hall of Fame post fade phenom. But once again, look at a little jab step, midi. Oof. Playmaking on the build. This is the reason why I have. Unfortunately, my 7-2 can't really be doing this because I don't have any playmaking, but I do feel confident off the move like this. Oh my goodness. Look at the center sitting in the paint. There's just too much stuff. Too much stuff. This is the reason I put playmaking on the build. It's not to glitch guys out. It's not to do some cheesy dribble moves. Just to use basic IQ to get myself open. We also saw that little back and forth movement again on this build. Because I can dunk the ball, I can always fake them out. And if they play the 3 too high, I'm going to obviously get that. But once again, look at the little step back off the triple threat, bro. Triple threat is literally such an overpowered move in this game that a lot of people don't do it. Again, you can rebound on this build. So you're able to do pretty much everything you'd want in a center, in my opinion. Being able to rebound, shoot very, very well. You know, as a stretch especially, like, what more could you possibly want on a build like this? But anyways, let's go to the builder, and I'm going to show y'all how to make this build. So here we are in the builder, okay? Your custom build, whatever you want to call, right-handed, left-handed, jersey number, that does not matter, okay? The position is going to be at center. Now, one of the things I can say about this build, the reason I really like this build, is the fact that you can actually use this build as a power forward. This build generally plays well as a power forward. You can have another, center to help you behind. But if you don't have a center to help you, you can still use this build at the 5. Trust me, your strength is going to be enough to cover you. The weight is going to be 221 pounds, 7'1" wingspan, which is pretty much one of the tiniest you can get on a 7'1", okay? Now, here's what the attributes are going to be looking like on this build. Now, bearing in mind, the main purpose and the main goal of this build is to stay out, okay? You're a stretch. You're supposed to stretch the floor for your teammates. But there are going to be certain occasions where your teammates are going to tell you to cut, maybe go into the paint, or you might want to drive off the playmaking because you do have playmaking on this build. So these, finishing dunks, whatever, it's just to make sure you can actually get these buckets done, okay? When you drive to the paint, as a center, in my opinion, this year, 75 is all you need, okay? There is no limitless takeoff. like last year, where you can't take off without having silver limitless takeoff. You're able to dunk very, very well with even with a 75. 72 standing dunk. Again, I know some people would rather have an 80, but given the fact that you're able to get a lot more in other attributes, I think this is more than sufficient enough to be able to get, do everything you need to do underneath the paint. You all see me, I was dunking when I'm underneath the basket, which is all you need to do. And that also gives you access to bronze rise up, which is very, very, very good. And a close shot, again, this also gives you to bronze access to bronze fast twitch. And surprisingly, bronze fast twitch this year, I think they nerfed the pogo stick. It's working pretty well so far. Now the shooting on this build, like I said, this is the first build I've ever made that actually has Hall of Fame post fade phenom. And yeah, Hall of Fame, I honestly, can I tell the difference between gold and Hall of Fame? I would say no so far. It feels like I can hit pretty much the same shot on my my other builds. I have an 84 midi and the same build of an 86, so I wouldn't say I can feel a massive difference, but maybe there is a difference. I can't really tell so far. But the 3-pointer, which is where the build kind of stands out, which you all can see as a 7-foot guy, you have access to bronze limitless range. Okay, the bronze limitless range does work. Okay, it doesn't mean you can stand really deep, but trust me, you can shoot deep on this build. Now there is no point in you being a stretch if you're going to be bricking free throws out here. Okay, it doesn't make sense for you to be good at shooting and you can't make no free throws. Hence the reason why we put 80 free throw on this game. And it's very, very important for guys to be able to knock down shots, especially in the clutch when guys want to start fouling. Now this build also has playmaking. Okay, you have a 69 ball handle. Now if you do go 6'11" on this version, you can get a 70 ball handle, which does give you access to obviously more dribble moves for you to play with. But with the 69, which is super important, is actually it gives you access, you all can see right there, to handles for days on bronze. So even if you only have handles for days on bronze, it does mean you're not going to be, your stamina won't drain as quickly if you try to dribble. And you also saw me do a lot of triple step moves. I like to do a little triple threat, off like a step back or into the paint, spin into the paint, dunk the ball. You also have a 64 speed of the ball. Again, speed of the ball affects your movement with the ball, how quickly you can move with it. So I want it to be as high as possible, which is 64, but you don't have to. You can always drop it and put it your stats elsewhere. Now with the defense, given the fact that you are a stretch, okay, I've seen other people make builds with like a 74 interior defense. Our person wouldn't recommend it. I think 82 is sort of the sweet spot for me this year if you don't want to put too high of an interior defense on your build. And the reason is, you all can see right there, you're able to get post lockdown on silver, which will be effective, trust me. And you're also able to get workhorse, and workhorse, just like previous years, help you rebounding and so forth. Now you also have a 69 perimeter defense, which is very high. Okay, so you're able to kind of keep up on the pick and roll. You can help your guards out, get into the paint. This is still an issue, I'm not gonna lie to you boys. Having a 60, it's tough out here. Okay, but you're still gonna, it's better, I always say this, better to have bronze than to have nothing, bro. So I'd still rather have 60, even though it's not the best, it still works. And also your 7-foot minimum wingspan, like who really cares, right? Now the block rating, you have silver anchor, gold chase down, silver pogo stick. And with the rebound, you're able to get access to gold box out beast. And you also have offensive. Okay, one thing I don't like when people make their builds is some people have a super high defensive rebound, like a 92 for example, and they only have like a 60 offensive rebound. I'm like, bro, come on, bro, like what are you doing? It doesn't, like, you need to be able to get offensive like rebounds on both sides of the court, not just one side. Okay, and also the speed of this build, speed matters on 2K. Trust me, you're gonna outrun a lot of centers that are much slower than you. So all these 7'2 centers or 7'3 centers have like a 60 or a 40 speed. You're literally going to outrun them up the court. And again, acceleration also affects your movement with the ball. So I want it to be as high as possible because I want to be very, very quick on this build. 84 strength, which obviously gives you access to gold box out beast and also bulldozer, etc, etc. You have 80 vertical and a 95 stamina. But that's pretty much going to do the build. Okay, this is pretty much it. The name of the build, which for me is actually such a boring name, but the boring names kind of work at this point. You're going to be called a 3-level threat. I mean, I wish there's some kind of like nice 2-way diamond stretch 5 or something like kind of cool about it, but you don't get that kind of stuff, unfortunately. 3-level threat is all we're going to get for now, and that's how you make this build. Yo, let me know what you guys think about this build. I mean, what would you change? I mean, I know loads of people are going to change a lot of stuff about this build because people play differently. You need to understand, I made this build to my play style, how I play. So you might play differently from me. You might not shoot a lot of middies, so you might not necessarily need a high mid-range. You can put it elsewhere. You can put more your standing dunk if you want, your driving dunk, whatever suits your need best. So that's very, very important when you make your builds on 2K, is remember your play style. Okay, don't make a build just because I'm making it, or anyone else is making it. Make it because it suits the way you play the game. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.